All right, welcome back, good people. I appreciate you stopping by as usual. This is Speak with Larry's video podcast, and I am Larry. I like to say that. One of the things that I'm working on right now is setting up a system to become a podcast interviewer, I guess you'll call it. And as a matter of fact, I'm titling this episode Interviews, because I'm going to explain a little bit about how I project this to turn out, how I envision this thing working. Right now, it's not there, and that's okay. I don't want it to be there yet, but what I'm doing is putting together things in my mind and things in line with making it happen. Right? It's what people who have vision, the way they do it. Right? So I'm not saying that I'm a visionary or that you should do things like I do it or anything like that, but it's what's required when you are the only one who knows what it is that you want, right? And normally that's the way it is. As a visionary, you are the only one who knows until you're able to articulate that to or in a way so that other people can get it, right, and buy into that vision, if you will. So I guess that would make me a visionary, right? And I think we all have that capability. No, I would say we do all have that capability, because once you decide that you want to do something, only you know what that is. Nobody else, until you start to explain it to people, right? And you can't do it by yourself. I'm going to say that. It takes a team effort. Now, members of your team may come and go. Members of your team probably will come and go because that's how business works. You're not going to normally keep the same team that you start with. They're going to come and go. And a lot of them will go because you get rid of them, right? You dismiss them because they're no longer in line with what it is that you vision or you envision as being what you want, right? It's like, think about creating a building. If you create a building and you want this building, or building a house, you want this house to look a certain way, I don't know what that is. You know what that is because you want it this way, right? If you want to have like maybe a studio in your house where it's acoustic and you can have loud music, but it won't go outside that room, right? It'll stay in there, which means it'll have a better sound to it. Then you know how you would want that done, right? And if you don't know, how am I going to know that that's what you want? I won't. You have to know. So, getting back to the interview part, what I want to do is I want to talk to people who have little small businesses, not necessarily what you would call startups, but people who are consistent with what they do, right? They have a story to tell, right, about their business, about how they begun, how they got started, some of the trials and tribulations that they had to go through. So just some of the, I guess, giving birth of what it is that they wanted, right? And now that they have it, it's generating a profit, and it may not be fully sustaining their lifestyle, but it is contributing, right? And they love it. So I want to do interviews with people like that. I want to do interviews with people who haven't started a business yet, because sometimes those people they need to get in front of somebody like myself, and I'll ask questions and they'll have wheels begin to turn in their head based on those questions as to exactly what they need to do to take the next step to actually start that. And most of the time, the people who would like to have a business or create a product, most of the time that they haven't done it is because they are afraid. They have a fear. And they can't really identify what that fear is at that point. Or they haven't mustered up the courage to get past that fear, right? You have to do that, because I always like to tell my clients that no one's coming to the rescue. So if you don't do it, it's not going to get done. Let me say that again. If you don't do it, it won't get done. Period. Not by you, because it requires you. It requires you to be there, you to show up. It's like energy. When you think about energy, energy is not is no more. It's never created. In other words, you don't create more energy or less energy. Energy is just transferred from one place to the next. Think about this for a second. If you're in a room, right? Let's say you're in a room by yourself. Let's say you're in an office waiting for the manager to come in, right? You're sitting in there waiting by yourself, just thinking, right? And then they come in. There's another level of energy that's in that room, so it causes you to react differently, right? Now, if that person came in and didn't say anything, just came in and stood, right? Their energy would still be transferred. You understand what I'm saying, right? You would still feel that person's presence. If they came in, stood there for 10 seconds, looked around, and walked out the room, that would make you feel a certain way because of that energy, right? You wouldn't know what to do, why they were doing that. Or, hey, is that how this works, right? So energy is very important when you're trying to do things collectively. You want to have people with you who bring good energy, right? Because it can pull away too. It can cause problems, major problems. So that's why it's important to try and build your team with people who are like-minded, right? People who are willing to stick to things when they commit to things, right? Because you have people who talk a lot, talk a good game, but no action. Zero action. They do nothing but talk. And then they blame things like, I don't have the time, or I don't have the money, or I don't have the this, right? That is not how you get it. You don't get it by blaming the fact that you don't have it. You get it by going out there and grinding, putting in the work, right? Gaining the knowledge, and putting yourself out there where the God that we pray to can bless something, right? He won't bless you just talking. You got to put action to it. Faith without works is dead, right? That's how that goes. Come on now. Get in the game, right? But anyway, the type of people I want to interview are the people who are I'm actually in the Irving, Texas area. So I want to deal with people who are in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. And my objective, as I indicated on a prior episode, is to create a podcast that just basically does interviews with people, kind of grow their system, right? My nose is itching. And by doing that, I'm actually making those people famous because of my audience, right? Like on one of my audio podcasts, I have well over 25,000 downloads that is constantly increasing, right? So by the time I get to 50,000 or 100,000, then the people that I'm interviewing when I post those episodes, they're being exposed to all that for free because these interviews are free. I want to say that. I want to get that. I want this to be my way of giving back. Once I become syndicated, then the money comes, but I want to be able to help a lot of people get off the ground and start their system, because now is the time to get your business up and running, or get your book written, or get your videos made, or get whatever it is that you want to do. Or if you just have a story that you want to tell, or something that you've gone through, right? It's all the same to me. I'm talking to you. We're talking about what you have to offer to the world, or what it is that you've gone through that you would like to share with the world, because it will help people. And I know that it will, because it's therapeutic for a lot of people to actually hear something that resonates with their journey or their walk through life, right? And I could charge for the interviews, but I won't, because I want to be able to. For people to be able to have a place to come and share their story, but I don't want it to be about the money for that. I want it to be the genuine give and take, right? So that then they have a place to come, right? You will have a place to come once you decide to kick off your system, right? I'm going to go speak with Larry. I'm going to go to have an interview with Speak with Larry, and we're going to talk about my business. So we're going to talk about my book. We're going to talk about my life, right? Or we're just going to talk, right? We're just going to have discussions. Because I've got questions that I have, a list of questions that are basically for people who don't have a business or anything thus far, that I would just ask randomly. Nothing is invasive or anything like that, nothing personal like. It's just random questions that, you can answer. I like questions like that because they allow you to have a little introspect when you're answering those questions, because that's how we get better. One of my favorite subjects is personal development, and you must continually develop who you are and the person you are, because that's how you become the leader. That's how you become the example, I like to call myself, because you know how you would like to be treated. You know how you would like to interact with people, and that's how people will interact with you, the way you treat them normally. Sometimes they won't, then you get that straight. But for the most part, nothing is absolute, right? So anyway, this episode was titled Interviews. So if you are open to interviews or you are interested in talking about your business, you can come to my audio. We can have an audio interview before I create the video episodes in around the first of the year. Anytime you want to, just contact me at speakwithlarryj@gmail.com and the subject type interview, and we'll coordinate that and we'll get that moving forward, right? Because I love sharing information and I love marketing. I love networking with people, because a lot of people don't realize how essential it is to network, and you can do it without leaving your home if you want to. And I like to. All right, listen, I appreciate you guys stopping by, and I'll see you on the next episode.